Hi guys and welcome back. My name is Amanda. For those of you that are new to the channel, for those of you that have been here before, welcome back again, and to family, hello. So I'm going to be making my normal thickened coconut yogurt, and I do it using coconut milk, and I normally use the RID brand. This is the one that I use to get my really thick coconut cream. It doesn't contain the guam gum in it, so I like using it. It works. It's effective. So I shouldn't change something. But somebody pointed out that it's not a preservative, it's an emulsifying agent in this one. And I did a bit of research and I came across this one instead, which is from, honest to goodness, it's just a organic coconut meat extract, which is 56%, and purified water. So coconut and water, let's see whether this works. They've both been chilling in the refrigerator now for a few days. So normally it's just overnight. So first thing to do is to compare how they have become solidified in the fridge, I guess, at cold temperatures, because I want to separate the coconut water from the coconut milk, and that's how I end up with my thick yogurt. So this is the ROD. So it's thick, but it's still blended. I'm wondering if I shook it when I got it out of the crisper, because it's usually denser than that, but that's okay. Oh, okay. This one's very different. So this one, okay, I'm going to have to bring you down. So this is RID, just as you're seeing it. And this one here is the one that's just the water and the coconut extract. Okay, so it's solidified, which is fine, but I'm wondering how much waste I'm going to get from pouring off that water. We're about to find out. Okay, that's my solid amount that I would use to make the yogurt normally, and that is my waste that I wouldn't be adding to my yogurt, because otherwise I end up with a thin yogurt. Not to mention the colour is very different to this really pretty white versus this not so pretty white. Okay, I'm going to pour off the coconut water from this one. That's the RD coconut water, and that's my coconut thickened RD coconut milk, which is what I use to make my yogurt. Okay, I'm going to make a batch of yogurt up with each of these. I'm going to put it into my yogurt maker, into the individual pots, and I'm going to use exactly the same ingredients, the same temperature, same everything, and we'll do a comparison. So I've got 1 gram of my yogurt culture, so I'll just divide that in half between the two batches, and let's see tomorrow how much yogurt, if any, I get from using this organic milk versus my normal yogurt. I'm going to make a batch up. I've got 1 gram of my culture. I'm going to put them both into my yogurt maker, which is thermostat controlled, time controlled. So I'll do it the same as I always do my yogurts. But what I'm going to do, because that's not going to be enough to make the thick yogurt, and I'm not even sure this is going to make yogurt. Whereas I know RD does work for making yogurt even with the coconut milk added to it. So you know what? I'm just going to add the coconut milk and the coconut water back together and mix them together, so it'll be a slightly thinner consistency to my yogurt that I'm used to making, that at least I can make some yogurt at least with that amount. Let's try. So very simply, this would equal 1 can of coconut milk, and it is 400 and something gram can, whatever they come to, 400 ml can, and to that I need to add half of my starter. And this is my starter. It happens to be a powder, which is fine. And I've already weighed it out, so I know there's 1 gram here. A little nursey in me knows how to split that up and bring it back to 0.5. Okay. That's it. That's it. Simple. Mix it together. Pour it into the yogurt pods. And that's done. So usually I get 6 pots for 2 cans, and I don't normally have the coconut water included in that. which we have this time. So we'll just see. Ideally, I want 3 to 4 pots. And the only thing is, this will be a natural yogurt. It's not going to be anywhere near as thick a yogurt that I usually would get. I'll just divide them up evenly. And I'll set them to the back of the machine. Okay, so that's those 3. So I know when I look back on the footage that the ones at the back is my R&D. I'm going to use 3 at the front. And I'm going to have to reincorporate all of this coconut water. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. If I was purchasing that can, knowing that there was 250 mils of water out of a 400 ml can, I don't know whether or not I would be happy with that ratio. That is completely solidified. That is... Okay, we're going to have to heat this up. This is a rock. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This is not... That's more solidified than coconut cream. Okay, let me heat this up. Okay, I've had to microwave it for a minute. It was literally solidified coconut. It's even thicker than oil. It's as in, I've got coconut oil here that I use to cook with. The other thing about this that I noticed while I was cooking it is I had a little slight taste of it before it went in. It tastes so much of coconut. R&D doesn't have a coconut flavour. It's a neutral flavour. So this is, I can just smell coconut. This is very different. So you're seeing what I'm seeing, or you can't smell it, but you're experiencing what I'm experiencing for the first time also. So I've just blended all that back together once again. I'm going to add my culture, which is going in now. I'll just put the culture in and then mix it all up and see what happens. I don't have, maybe I'll be shocked. You know, I've done sour cream and been shocked before when I've done it with powdered coconut milk. So, you know, who knows? This is just another experiment, so to speak, using ingredients that I commonly have here. And I actually thought that the organic coconut milk would have been possibly a better option, and would have been an option that I would have been able to recommend to people wanting to make the yogurt without any additions or preservative agents. There's no preservatives in R&D. It is just an emulsifying agent that's added to it, and that just keeps the creams from separating in the can. We force them to separate. Well, I force it to separate when I refrigerate it. But that's all that potassium ingredient is in the R&D. All right, so I have 3 pots of now my second yogurt, and I'm going to put them into the yogurt maker for the same amount of time. It's usually a 24-hour process in the yogurt maker and then another 24 hours in the refrigerator before I can tell, and then it gets thicker over the next couple of days as the culture continues to grow. So I'll put it into the yogurt maker and just set its temperature as I always do. And we will see what it's like in 24 hours. It's probably the only way I'm going to know for sure whether or not this works, I guess, temperature-wise. I will set it to 40, between 42 and 46 is for yogurt, so I'm going to go 44. Usually do 42. I'm going to go 44 degrees and we're going to go for 24 hours into the machine, and let's see how that goes. We'll come back and I'll let you know. While I'm here and I'm doing coconut yogurt, I might as well do a final one. So I'll do 3 at once because I've got 3 empty pots and the machine's already on. So coconut milk powder, this is one that I use all the time. I simply need to add 2 scoops of this to 200 mils or so of water. So, or 170 mils of water, but I need 400 mils of water. So to make up the 3 pots equal to what we've got over there. So I have just whisked together the coconut milk. I've got 4 scoops of the coconut milk powder to my 400 mils of water. I'm going to fill these pots. I've added the culture to this as well. And I'm going to fill my 3 pots as well. I'm going to put them all into the yogurt maker as well. We'll do a comparison. Because I do know this works because I've done this before, but we will see. Compare it to the powdered milk that you get. Sorry, not the powdered milk. The canned coconut milk versus powdered coconut milk. There's a little bit less fat in the powdered coconut milk. It's about 15 grams, 14, 15 grams of fat for these 3 pots, which is still quite a lot, but we'll see. We'll put it in the machine. Let's see what it does. Now, this is the culture that I've been using. So for those of you that are interested, it's just a standard yogurt culture that's come, this particular one from Amazon. It's shelf stable, doesn't need to be kept in the fridge or a freezer. There's 10 packets in this little sachet, and I think I've got 4 sachets left because usually I would just reuse one of the clear unflavoured yogurts to start the next culture on. So this lasts quite some time if you keep one of your pots natural. So that's the idea. I've made some natural yogurts now, so I'll definitely be saving some of them. If the yogurts don't work, at least the cultures that are growing within them will work, and so I'll be able to use them to start the next lot of yogurt. Okay, time is on. We're at 44 degrees, sorry. We will come back and I will check all 3 of them and let you know how they grow. Rightio guys, it's been 24 hours. It's a bit chilly, but the yogurt, hopefully we have yogurt. We'll have a look. I'll pull it out of the machine. I haven't checked on this since it was put in, so I have no idea if we've got anything that resembles yogurt. But what we do need to do is let this sit in the refrigerator also overnight, usually, or at least for 6 to 8 hours to cool properly, especially because it's quite warm being at that temperature. Alrighty, I'm going to have a look-see at the 3. So this is the first one. Let me get the cans back out again. Okay, so this is the Aradee coconut milk that's been made. Because the coconut water was added back to it, there is a bit of separation, which is why I normally pour off the coconut water when I'm making the yogurt to make it nice and thick. So this will be thinner. It's actually not too bad already, but it still needs to chill. So we're going to put that one in the refrigerator. So I expected that that would be a little bit thinner than my normal thick coconut yogurt. Now, this one will be the one we look at next. Yeah. I don't like that. Don't know about that one. Yeah, you see the separation, how much? It's more than half the jar is separated into the water, and the solids maybe are of yogurt consistency and taste, but yeah, it's not going to be a can. It doesn't smell too bad. It smells like my normal yogurt, but I'm going to move my recipe book because I don't trust that this isn't going to spill everywhere. Okay, so it isn't. Yeah, it's not great. Not great enough to make me like the first one. I wanted to eat the spoon. This one I don't want to do that. All right, so I don't love it. I'm trying to work out what I can do to save it. I mean, at least the cultures are okay. I'm wondering if I should shake it. Look, I'm going to shake one and leave 2 not shaken, and I'm going to put it back in the refrigerator. Now we're dripping everywhere. So I'll put it back in the refrigerator and let it finish its cool down process. And then this is the coconut milk powder. Again, see the separation? And I expect that because this is really low in fat, but it's also made up with mostly water and then reconstructed coconut milk. But again, this one, that didn't take anything to emulsify it again. It's going to be really thin. These pots will be my culture more than likely. It's certainly not a yogurt consistency. It's just like a coconut milk, except it smells more like the coconut yogurt. Really good in cooking though, which is what I use a lot of the coconut yogurts for, is as a, so that I want to eat already. That one is, they all smell very similar. They all have a very light coconut smell to them, but this one is already luscious and thick. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator. We're going to come back. That one I'll eat. Tastes good to me. All right, they're going in the fridge. So when it comes to making coconut yogurt, things that I've learned after using these two products, but this one took me a little while to come to and to find that it works every time, and it's like the keep it simple rule. It works and I shouldn't vary it. So it's still going to be my go-to product, even though it does contain an emulsifying agent, and that's all it contains in it other than the coconut milk. So it's still going to be my go-to. It's less fat than this. Sure, it's more fat than that, but I use it as a leavening agent in my bread. It's really good as a leveling agent in cakes as well, because we don't tend to use eggs as much. But to eat on its own, it's beautiful, and it's a really lovely thick yogurt when it does have that little tiny bit, which is only 45 mils of the coconut water separated from the can when it's been refrigerated overnight or after a couple of days. So yeah, we'll see what that looks like when I come back. But it's an interesting experiment to do the three. I've done a few different coconut milks in the past. UHT does not work. Okay, so I have used the UHT milk, which we get from Costco, and we have bulk of this on supply, but no, we don't use that one. And there is a Woolworths coconut milk as well, which I'm not even sure if I have any of them. They're just the Woolworths brand, a blue can. But that contains the guam gum, and so the guam gum prevents the yogurt forming. So we'll see what this is like when I come back tomorrow once they've chilled down. And but I mean, these other milks can all still be used for cooking. They just can't be used for doing the yogurt. So I think I'll stick to the Aradi for making my yogurt, but we will see when I come back, because I do mix it with some fruit and other things as well and put it back into the pot. So we'll come back to that, and I'll get on to the next job for the day. Okay, so it's late afternoon. The yogurts have been in the refrigerator all day long. They are completely chilled down, so now will be the time to test them out. We'll start with my favourite first, because this one, not too bad. Okay, so once again, it's still got the tiny bit of separation at the bottom because it's got the coconut water still in this pot, which is usually poured off. But look at that. Luscious, thick. That's gorgeous. Completely holds its shape. If I was to put that onto a plate, it's lovely. Perfect. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, because I'm going to eat it. All right. That one's perfect. So it's always my favourite. That's the Aradi. We're going to have a look at the coconut powder yogurt, which is not yogurt, although it still tastes like yogurt and it's still full of the cultures. It's still way too thin. That's not going to coat a spoon. This is one that's unshaken, so you can see how much water is down the bottom and how much is solid at the top. What's on top most likely will be and is the consistency of a yogurt. It's not that bad, but there's an awful lot of wastage that it would be perfect to use as a thickening agent in soups and stews and things like that. For my Thai soup, perfect. To use as a culture, again, perfect. This is a clean spoon, by the way. I'm not using the same spoon. Okay. So powdered coconut milk, that particular coconut milk, which is a low-fat variety, versus there is another variety I've got, which I haven't checked its fat content, and I've used it before when I've made yogurt, and it's not so bad. But alrighty, yeah, okay, we're at that stage. This is the organic, 100% water and coconut only. You probably can tell that I'm just so not impressed. In fact, that's grainier looking than the powdered. It's same consistency, completely liquid. It hasn't turned into a yogurt at all, considering it only contains, and I'll get the third spoon, only contains coconut extract, meat extract, and water. It's not. It's just, okay, that is just an utter fail. Okay, so that, no. All right, taste it. It's going to have to be used as a culture starter, or I don't even think I'd want to use that as a culture starter. I think, all right, I'm going to have a look at a pot that wasn't shaken up. I didn't shake this one up. I'm not going to stir it. I'm just going to take the coconut from the surface like I did with the coconut milk. Sorry. This might take a minute. I've taken a minute. It's not getting any better. Okay. Can't get my spoon in. It's solidified. So, you know, when we opened the can that had been in the refrigerator and it had that big solid mass of coconut, it's got it again. I'm going to be, okay, give me a minute. I'm going to do something funny. I mean, that's just made my day, just, you know, because it's so bad. It's funny when something is so bad and it's funny. Okay, so I've just put a hole in the top and I'm just going to pour out. Oh, God, that doesn't even work. Oh, because I need to make an air suction hole. Okay, I've made an air suction hole. Oh, just drained off the yucky water, and we've just got, look at that, a solid lump of, I don't even know what to call this. Yeah, that's thick, but is that yogurt? I'm not eating that. I should try it just so I know, but I don't want to. It's, all right, I'm going to try something. And I immediately regret doing that. That's bad. That is really, really, really bad. Okay, so please don't use the honest to goodness organic normal coconut milk to try to make yogurt. Okay, just don't. What am I going to do with that? I honestly don't know. Maybe it could be used in a Thai curry, possibly. The flavour is just not yogurt. It's so coconutty that the coconut is actually overpowering, unlike my first yogurt, which, you know, is also made with coconut milk, but it's absolutely neutral. It's just creamy, velvety yogurt. Tastes like coconut yogurt. There's other stuff, I have no idea. And I've got 3 pots of it, and I'm happy that I didn't purchase too many of them. That's all I'm going to say. And it will not be on my to rebuy shopping list. So, look, if anything, you've all had a bit of a laugh with me. I have another one here that's not been opened yet. I guarantee that's solidified as well. The first one had been shaken. we shook it before I put it in the fridge, and that's why it was more liquid, because it hadn't separated and solidified. But this one, it's just a solid rock of, I don't even know. I looked at the can. There's a huge amount of fat in it, obviously, because I've put the fat content up on the description when I made it. But it says organic coconut meat extract, and that has got more solid factor to it, solidity to it, than my coconut oil that I use for cooking. And it'd be interesting if I melted that down to see if it melted like coconut oil. I don't know, but please don't use that for making yogurt. All right, that's my testing done. I will put back my yogurts. I'm happy with them. I don't have a problem with the Aradi ones. I'm sticking with Aradi. I'm not changing the brand again. Yeah, it's stick with what works and don't play with it as far as once you find something that does work. The coconut milks, they can be my cultures. That's not a problem. So this was the powdered milk. They can be my cultures for the next lot of yogurts that I'm going to be making. They're perfectly fine. Or to even be put into a soup that I know that I'm going to eat. These other three, I have no honest idea what I'm going to do with those three now. Alrighty, that was fun. Let's not do that again. All right, thanks guys. Bye now.